We now know who will be cultivating and processing cannabis for medicinal use. A lottery to select more than 24 to either grow or make marijuana into a form of medicine for certain conditions was held today. WYMT's Phil Pendleton was at the licensed lottery.
Almost 600 potential cultivators turned in applications to win this lottery today. There were also 300 or so people that wanted to be processors, and those names were selected today. Today, after a lottery that took about 30 minutes that officials say was totally random and full of numerous safeguards, the names of 26 businesses or individuals who will either process or cultivate medical cannabis were named. Among them are 3 in Fayette County, 1 in Estill County, and 1 in Lincoln County. Governor Andy Beshear says that it's very important that all of this stay within the state's borders.
We'll be a Kentucky business, employing Kentuckians, moving our economy and our health care forward.
The medical marijuana will be available from licensed dispensaries next year. It will be available for those over the age of 18 and who suffer from one of a number of conditions, including cancer, PTSD, chronic pain, or nausea. In Louisville, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
The governor's office says that the dispensaries will be named at a later date. If you'd like to see the complete list of 26 businesses named today, once we have the complete list, we will post them on our website at WYMT.com. The presidential candidates are entering their final campaign stretch with just over a week left until Election Day. Today, Vice President Kamala Harris is in Michigan after visiting a black barbershop and church and a Puerto Rican restaurant on a blitz through the crucial battleground state of Pennsylvania yesterday. Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump campaigned yesterday before a packed house at one of the nation's most well-known venues, New York's Madison Square Garden. Today, he is in Georgia. Tomorrow, he'll campaign in Allentown, Pennsylvania, a city with a large population of Puerto Rican residents. This visit will come after bipartisan fallout over racially charged jokes by comedian Tony Hinchcliffe that opened the former president's rally in New York.
And, you know, there's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah, I think it's called Puerto Rico.
The Trump campaign says the jokes were not reviewed beforehand and they do not reflect the former president's views. The election is just 8 days away and poll workers are trying to remind folks of all the important dates leading up to the big day. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more from the polls in Pike County.
Election Day is next Tuesday, but voting is already underway. And here in Pike County, officials say early voters have been trickling in all day. With time ticking toward the general election, many people are already taking their opinions to the polls. And election workers say the options, from mail-in ballots to early in-person voting, are providing people every opportunity to vote. Excused absentee voting kicked off today, and Pike County Clerk Darrell Pugh says the turnout so far looks promising.
If you're going to be out of town on the 31st, 1st, and 2nd, which is early voting days, and November 5th, Election Day, you can come in and fill out a paper saying you're going to be out of town those days and it was too late for you to order an absentee, and you can vote here.
The courthouse is open to excused absentee voting tomorrow and Wednesday. Early voting begins Thursday at the Lee Avenue Library and Belfry Courthouse. In Pike County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
We'll hear more about early voting and how to prepare for Election Day coming up at 6.
Today's looking quite beautiful with those temperatures and the nice skies. We're really in for a treat today. Taking a look at those current temperatures right now, though, we are in the low 70s for most of the area. Some places a little bit warmer, 75 for Manchester and Somerset, 70 for Jonesville. A little bit cooler as you're heading into Virginia, 64 for Wise, 66 for Grundy. And as we go into these overnight hours, we'll see those temperatures continue to decrease. Really a big range across the area. area, 43 if you're in Jonesville. And as you're heading more to the north, 55 for Moorhead will be the overnight lows. But if you don't like those, we'll continue to warm up for your Tuesday with temperatures similar today, but even warmer. Really looking at those upper 70s across the board. 77 for Hazard, London, Williamsburg, 78 even for Manchester. Satellite radar is clear, and as you're going through the next couple of hours, it'll be nice and clear even into the overnight hours. Steve?
All right, Megan, thank you. One man was killed and dozens of other people were hurt when a truck rammed into a bus stop near Tel Aviv in Israel Sunday in a suspected terror attack. Also over the weekend, Israel launched a wave of airstrikes against military targets in Iran, the latest escalation in a growing regional conflict. The Israeli military says it has now completed its mission in Iran, but tensions remain high. CBS's Rami Inocencio reports from Tel Aviv.
Booms over Tehran as Israel's airstrikes met Iran's air defenses.
We conducted targeted and precise strikes on military targets in Iran.
Under Israel's military headquarters in Tel Aviv, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu monitored. The IDF said it hit Iranian surface-to-air missile systems and missile production sites. Whoever hurts us, we hurt him, said Netanyahu on Sunday. Israel's strikes were retaliation for Iran's attack on October 1st, when it launched nearly 200 ballistic missiles. The Zionists have made a miscalculation, said Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. We must make them understand. Danny Citrinowicz is an Israeli national security expert on Iran.
Do you think this Israel-Iran back and forth is over?
The bottom line is, even we don't know whether back and forth of that or the tit for tat will end, but I think that towards the future, obviously, I think there will be other rounds between both countries.
Avoiding a regional war, he says, rests on ending Israel's operations against Hezbollah in Lebanon and its conflict with Hamas in Gaza. IDF strikes killed more than 80 people over the weekend, according to Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry, where Israeli troops raided one of the last functioning hospitals and struck a school-turned-shelter for the second time in a week. The IDF maintains Hamas uses civilian infrastructure to hide fighters and weapons. If Gaza is not resolved, Israel's second retaliation against Iran in 6 months could be a harbinger of things to come.
How close did we get to the wider regional war that we've been fearing?
I can say that we are closer than ever.
And CIA Director Bill Burns is back in Qatar to try to restart talks between Israel and Hamas. Egypt has proposed a 2-day ceasefire and the release of 4 Israeli hostages for Palestinian prisoners. And that would at least be a start. Rami Inocencio, CBS News, Tel Aviv.
Coming up on First at 4, food regulators believe they have found the